Good evening and welcome back to the channel. I hope you had a good week, but whether you did or not, the weekend is here and we can kick back, commiserate, and either drown our sorrows or toast our successes. Or both. Well, it's Halloween weekend, and I heard this urban legend that I wanted to give a try. I looked into the mirror and said Bloody Mary 3 times, and sure enough, Netter said, "All right already, I'll make you a Bloody Mary." So, Halloween is more than just ghosts and ghouls. It's also a time of change. The season is changing, the year is coming to an end, nights are getting longer, and we're going to discuss some changes on the channel. Nothing big, don't worry, just something I want to try. Maybe I'll try sobriety. Nah, let's not get crazy. Strap in, here we go. Hey, how's everyone doing tonight? Hey there, Age of Boomer, what you sipping on?
I got myself an Angry Orchard hard cider crisp apple.
Ooh,
Appropriate
hard cider, the hard stuff. There you go.
Yes.
You're indulging in the libation tonight. Do you not have to work tomorrow?
I'm not working. I took a personal day.
A personal day. That means you can get all silly tonight.
Yes.
That's awesome. I have already polished off my Bloody Mary. I am now working on something called an adult root beer float. This is Smirnoff root beer float vodka with Bailey's and a little bit of whipped cream. That's almost gone, so I'm going to switch to Kraken after that.
Kraken, okay. Oh, you're unleashing the Kraken tonight.
No, you're not.
Netter's going, no, you're not. No, you're not.
Chat, Stephanie Janicek is in there.
Stephanie, hey, how you doing there? We were just talking about you behind the scenes. I am not seeing any update. There the boys are, she says. Yeah. Wait a minute. Let's back up and take a look.
I had to look up the definition of the term manlet because of what you said on your stream earlier.
Oh, okay, yeah.
What's a manlet? That doesn't sound flattering. Okay.
So what I really should do is first say hi to the staff. Netter of Netter's Network. Link is in the description. Please give her a sub if you haven't already. She is here doing the Blue Wrench thing because she is awesome that way. She is my enabler. She is my supporter. Another one of my partners in crime from the Saturday rewatches, Big Al of Big Al Presents. He says drink up, and I absolutely am, my friend. Let's party like it's Halloween, right? And of course, Stephanie of Stephanie Janicek's Smuggler's Cantina. Guys, I'm telling you, if you want the scoop on what's going on in the world of Star Wars, she is the source for some of the YouTubers that you are actually following. So you follow her, you get it before Midnight's Edge, you get it before Kamran Pasha, you get it before some of those I think even before some of what Valiant Renegade, he uses her as a source. My buddy Skipper Kenner, the fireman superhero. How you doing, my friend? Just popping in to say hi. He's at the Firehouse of Love tonight, so he won't be around much. But dude, we super appreciate you being here. We super appreciate everything you do. Hopefully it's a very uneventful weekend for you. Team Ghost Planet 3.0, good luck with the stream. You've got something else going on tonight, by all means. There's a lot of people doing Halloween streams tonight. I understand that. The bigger guys. I know Doomcock and the Nerdrotic guys and all of them are out there doing their thing. That's awesome. Daniel Heron. Hey, my friend, how you doing? Good to see you. Let's see. Anyone else? Okay, Yep. Give me a second here. I'm catching up here. Sir Torin. Good evening, everyone. Let's see here. Netter dropped her link. And, of course, we have Max World Entertainment. Trey, how are you doing, my friend? By all means, you should also be, if you are at all a Star Trek fan, definitely go check out his stream. But if you are one of those type of people like myself who just likes to support, independent filmmakers, fan filmmakers, he hosts them all over there. Yeah, mostly Star Trek, but he does Star Wars. He does a bunch of other stuff. I saw a Jumanji movie that was done by some fans. Really good stuff. These days, I'll be honest with you, I think the fans are doing the best work. They're doing better work than what we're seeing on the TV and in the films in some cases. So by all means, go share the love. As PJ over at Orville Nation always says, we grow together. So, let's support the people in our community. Go give them a like and a follow or subscription or whatever you call it. Let's see. Am I missing? Okay, so I think I'm caught up on everyone who's here right now. Netter is doing a great job of dropping the links for people, so please, right-click on those links, open up another tab, hit the subscribe, and catch up on their stuff, either after my stream or whenever you get bored with me and decide to leave, okay? But, so anyway, yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. It's been a good week for me at work. You know how you have your tough weeks and you have your challenging weeks and you have your successful weeks. I had all three.
Okay.
I had a very challenging week, but I was able to get caught up on some things. So I ended my day actually able to take a breath at the end of the day, and I was able to log off and say, I'm done. I'll be fresh going into Monday. You know what I mean? So, Sunday, given I'm switching everything around, right? I said I was going to try new things. The announcements that we make at the end, I'm going to make some of them at the beginning here. So Sunday evening, I always talk about Geeky Geezers, and I say, come join us over on this guy's channel where we'll be talking about the week's geeky news. Well, two things. One, there hasn't been a great deal of news. I don't know what you think, Boomer, but I think we'd be kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel to try and come up with some stuff. And we'll talk about some of that stuff tonight, just because on Sunday, we're not going to be doing the regular format. Instead, we're going to do a Halloween rewatch. You want to tell everybody about that, Boomer, while I drink some more?
Yes. Okay, this is how my thoughts going into it, okay? Halloween is a holiday, not an officially recognized federal holiday like you get it all. But it's a holiday.
I don't care what the Fed recognizes anymore these days.
And I thought I could do one of two things. I could not have a stream at all, which seems, we don't want to do that all the time, especially since it fell on a Sunday again. Well, why don't we have some fun instead of being? So we're going to rewatch a movie called The Evil, the classic 1970s horror movie, haunted house picture. And the reason I picked this one is because it is available on shoutfactorytv.com. You can watch it on your laptop. You can watch it through the app download. There'll be commercials if you download it, if you watch it through the app, but it's free. It's legal. It's free to anybody watch. It's got Richard Crenna in it and some other people whose names escape me.
Is it available on YouTube?
I think there was a version of it available on YouTube, like maybe unofficially, but it's there. So you can also watch it.
Because if you watch it on YouTube and you happen to watch it with an ad blocker, you don't have ads. So,
I think, though, if you watch it on Shout Factory TV, you have to watch an ad at the beginning if you're watching it on the computer. But I think the ads stop after that. I could be wrong. However you want to watch it, please join us if you don't have anything fun on Halloween, because I know some of us are still in lockdown in certain parts of the country and the world, and maybe you just need someone to have.
Well, and the other thing, too, is remember, Halloween's on Sunday. So most people work the next day. So,
oh look, Joanna Petite is in this. You know her? No.
Nope.
Okay. Pretty Woman. English. She's an English actress. She's in this. Okay.
Actually, Big Al points out it's also on the high seas. Actually, it's actually quite easy to get on the high seas because of all the sources. They're kind of giving it away, to be honest with you. I mean, it's,
Joanne Petit guest starred on Night Gallery 4 times, the Rod Serling series. Huh? What do you think?
That was a good show. That was a
Yes.
good show.
I think it's a fun little good enough horror movie. I picked that because the idea was that we were going to do haunted house movies twice in a row, and this Saturday, what do you have going on over on Netter's Network? We have Poltergeist 3 rewatch.
We are going to be rewatching
Yes.
Poltergeist 3, and we're going to play Spot the Netter, because Netter is an extra in that film, and she is very much front and center in one very blink and you'll miss it scene. Well, that's not entirely true. You'd have to blink a couple times to miss her. I'll point her out to you. But Skipper Kenner says, it's the Halloween season. My younger crew members salvaged an intubation mannequin's face and snuck it into the coffee cabinet to surprise tomorrow's shift in the morning.
Oh, that's funny.
Let me tell you something. Skipper Kenner, I actually don't know why he doesn't have his own YouTube channel. He has told me stories over the years about stuff that happens at the firehouse. I've watched Chicago Fire, and they do all kinds of crazy stuff, as their B and C plots in the story. The stories that Skipper Kenner tells me are crazier than anything you would ever see on TV. The pranks they play on each other, the shenanigans they get into between, calls. It's the stuff of legends. Now, it could be partly the way Skipper Kenner tells the stories. Maybe he embellishes a little. I don't know, but he's got some great stories. He really, really does. And that's something I'm planning in the new year. I'm going to try to get together a space where I could film like a side-by-side interview, and I want to do an interview with Skipper Kenner, and we are going to talk about the G.I. Joe comic that he is responsible for that I am mentioned in.
Oh.
Yep. Right after 9/11, there was some federal funds going around for, safety, preparedness and stuff like that. And he went to the guys over at Hasbro and pitched the idea of a G.I. Joe based, freebie comic for kids about fire safety. And he'd be like G.I. Joe working with the fire department and that kind of thing. And it's a very interesting story that I think the fans need to hear about. And we'll be talking about that. But let's see what else we got going on here. Exactly. Yes, Netter's Network is famous in Poltergeist 3. So, I don't know, Boomer, have you ever heard of the 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon?
Yes.
Okay. You want to explain it to everyone else in case they don't know?
Okay, you can name an actor and then link between 6 other actors or 6 movies and get all the way back to Kevin Bacon. How everything relates back to Kevin Bacon.
The idea being that Kevin Bacon has been in so many things, that everyone is just 6 degrees from Kevin Bacon. And it's based on the whole idea that we're all 6 degrees away from anybody in the world, in theory. Never tested. It's just a theory. A film theory. No. Don't. I don't want to get a copyright strike. But so the fact that Nanette is in a movie, well, she's in a couple of movies actually, but she's really prominent in Poltergeist 3, and the female lead in Poltergeist 3 is Nancy Allen. You know Nancy Allen. She was in
Carrie.
Was she? Oh, gosh, she was. That's right.
Girlfriend, the one that says, "Let's pour the blood on Carrie." Remember that?
Well, you're thinking Halloween, obviously, so that's why that one comes to mind. I was thinking of RoboCop.
Yeah, she's in that.
And but anyway, so Netter is
Press to Kill. She's in that one.
Netter is in Poltergeist 3 with Nancy Allen, and I believe Nancy Allen is in Novocaine with Kevin Bacon. So that makes Nanette what is that? 2 degrees from Kevin Bacon.
And let me see. Yeah. Okay. Good point.
She was in the Philadelphia Experiment too?
I think so. He's in a few movies.
Oh, that's right. She is. She's the, the like love interest type thing. Yeah, who gets in the car and drives off. Yeah. Okay, you're right.
Hold on a minute.
And you know what? Honestly, it wouldn't be the Halloween season without our resident werewolf. Hey there, Wolf 10 Media. How you doing? There's another channel, you guys. I don't get to see him that often because he's on during the day when I'm working. But he and Leia Plus Size, are streaming during the day. Check out his when I do get a chance to catch the reruns. That's some good content. You really, really, really should check them out.
Yeah, he was on some good streams. He did a Vampire Hunter D rewatch this week.
Nancy Allen was in Blowout, a very underrated Brian De Palma film. I don't know about Brian De Palma right now. I'm just not feeling him ever since last week. Just saying.
What? Why? Because of that wonderful movie we watched.
That movie you think is well.
Did you?
In fairness, I didn't see much of it.
Okay, well, we'll talk about it some other time then.
But I do trust my wife's opinions, and she didn't care for it too much.
Actually,
So
if we think about it, though, Netter is only 2 or 3 degrees separated from George Wendt, because William Catt was in Carrie, also with what's her name from Poltergeist 3, and then you have William Catt is in House with George Wendt.
That's right. Yeah, that would be that. That's an interesting. See. There is an app, and you guys can look it up if you're really so inclined. It's called oracleofbacon.org. It was put together by some university, some database project that they were working on. It draws off of IMDb, and it connects all. Really, it's Kevin Bacon and any actor you put in. But really, you can change the values, so you could do like Nancy Allen to Elvis Presley if you want to, and if it can't find a connection, it'll say infinite. If they were in a movie together, it's 0.
Stephanie Janchik saying good night. I'm gonna go get a drink. I'll be right back.
So before you go, Stephanie, just wanted to say thanks for all your content, and I have been refreshing on my news feed. I've seen nothing about Lucasfilm. I've seen nothing about Kathleen Kennedy, and let me tell you something. The fact that I'm hearing crickets there, that actually says volumes to me, And for those of you that don't know, this month was the end of Kathleen Kennedy's contract. She either lapses or she gets renewed, and we have heard 0. By this time, when she renewed, Disney had said nothing, but through some back channels, one of her people came out and said, "Yep, she's been renewed. She's 2 more years head of Lucasfilm," and the fans went apeshit about it. Well, this time around, nobody is saying anything. The speculation had been that she was going to get extended because of the Indiana Jones. She's in charge of Indiana Jones, so maybe they keep her around for another year until Indiana Jones completes. But the fact that we've heard nothing, even from her camp, saying, "Yes, I'm here for another year," kind of implies that they're not saying anything. Now, during Stephanie's live stream earlier today, I said, we've got to hear something eventually from Disney, because Disney eventually has to announce, if they didn't renew her, who's in charge of Lucasfilm now. Valiant Renegade made a great point. He said, I think it's November 4th. Correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone knows, but November 4th is the stockholders meeting for Disney. He's speculating that if there's going to be an announcement to made, that's where it's going to be. So maybe we got to wait till November 4th to find out. But, fingers crossed I'll be singing. Once I hear that she's been lapsed and she's out the door, you'll hear me singing, "Ding dong, the witch is dead, the witch, old witch, the Captain Kennedy, she's gone." I will be so fired up about that, let me tell you. Anyway, thank you so much, Stephanie Janicek of Stephanie Janicek's Smuggler's Cantina. If you are at all a Star Wars fan and not a Reylo, not a big fan of the sequel trilogy, go subscribe to her channel. She has her finger on the pulse of Lucasfilm. Have a great night. Let's see. And I think that catches us up with the comments. So there we go. You're back then. I'm sorry I cut you off.
It's never over. I'm thinking of it's in like a Phantasm movie, and they're like, it's over, and then the tall man shows up again and says, it's never over.
It's never over.
And I don't know, I'm thinking even if we think we get rid of Rano, she'll pop up in some other thing. I don't know.
The one thing I don't want to do tonight is start going over, stuff that, you guys can hear Midnight's Edge, and all the other guys that give all the great commentary. I don't want to reinvent the wheel on y'all, but yeah, I mean, there's definitely some stuff going on behind the scenes at Disney. Looks like Favreau's definitely won the Star Wars battle. It's all done except for the announcement. But now the combat, now the civil war is between the factions over at Marvel and Bob Chapek.
Well, we got the Eternals coming out, and some of the early reviews.
Oh, is everyone fired up about the Eternals? Oh, I just can't wait for that shit that nobody's ever heard about. I love. There was an article that I saw about the Eternals today. They've already started their shit about. I guess there's a gay character in the Eternals.
There is.
And if you don't go see, the Eternals, you're a homophobe. And I'm like, nobody even knew there was a freaking homophobe or there was a freaking homosexual character in the movie because no one gives a shit. We can't even get to that point to care about there being a gay character because no one cares about the movie at all.
The Eternals trailers, I'm seeing Game of Thrones also ran actors and a Bollywood number. That's all I remember, okay? Bollywood.
And I guess, what's her name? Lara Croft is in it.
Angelina Jolie.
Yeah. She's, don't get me wrong, she's a babe, right? So isn't Selma Hayek in it too?
Selma Hayek's in it as well.
Great, we got a couple of, really well-known babes, right? Okay. Congratulations. I don't care because they're playing characters I don't give two shits about. And this is the worst part of it. I saw the trailers. I've seen the posters. This does not look like Kirby's characters. I don't give a shit. I really don't.
Listen, it's a different medium. You can't have things be exact. I don't know.
Skipper, we're bouncing back here, but going back to the Star Wars news, he says, I'm guessing no matter what they decide, they know keeping a low profile is the best way to keep things from blowing up on any side. Holy shit, no kidding? Disney's finally figured that shit out? They're not out there telling you every single little piece of information and then saying that you're an istophobe if you don't think it's the best thing ever? Somebody figured out marketing all of a sudden? Honestly, I swear, I think 2022 is going to be the year of reinventing the fucking wheel. That's what I think. I think people are going to start figuring out that shit that we've been doing over the past couple of years ain't working for nobody.
Can it be the year of getting the supply chain sorted out? I'd be happy with that.
Here's hoping. No, that may not change until we change administrations.
Oh my god.
So start planning on thinking about how you're going to vote if you're having any problems. And I'll tell you what, don't fucking complain if you say, well, I don't vote. Well, then fuck you and your opinions then. Because you had a chance to have your say. I'm a Chicago boy, born and raised, right? And this is the land of corruption, right? They all say, like I always say, my grandfather never voted Democrat until he died. Okay,
Uh-huh.
Chicago, where the dead vote twice, but yeah, we really wrote the script on election fraud, and when Barack Hussein got started running for president, I said that's great. If this guy wins, he's bringing Chicago politics to DC. And sure enough, that's exactly what we fucking got. And if we didn't see it with him, we saw it with the last fucking election. Okay? But there's always been a saying in Chicago, okay? The best way to combat a stolen election is for your side to win by a landslide. Okay? So if you go and you vote for the current administration again, then we get what you voted for and you deserve to whatever comes of it. Okay? If you don't like this administration, you need to go out and vote for the other guy. And don't give me any shit about, unless you're two evils, you're still voting for evil. Fine. Then close your eyes, close your ears, shut your mouth, and just get spoon-fed up the ass whatever you get.
Anyway, Skipper Kenner has a comment here. Whoever never saw Star Trek First Contact when it came out is... Oh, what? You made it disappear.
Oh, sorry. Wrong one, but there you go.
Okay. Out. Homophobia because Hawk was gay. Which one was Hawk?
Oh, was Hawk gay?
Was that the woman that was working for Severin Cochrane?
No. Hawk was the blue-eyed guy that gets turned into a Borg. He's
well, possibly.
Oh gosh, he was in a bunch of other things too.
Was in the novelization.
He played the Tin Man in that sci-fi.
I like that. He's a good actor.
He's a really good actor. Yeah, you don't see him much anymore. You know why? Conservative.
He was on Arrow. He was on a season of Arrow.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was the villain one season.
Yeah, I feel sorry for him then.
Well, Arrow started out fine. The
Guys,
started out fine. I didn't have a problem with these shows when they first started. It was just what they...
Good evening, Adega Outlaw. I am always so encouraged to see you in... thanks so much. He says, "Ooh, I came in just when Troy was on fire." Yeah, anyway. I got a little political there. Excuse me, but guys, please go subscribe to Adega Outlaw's channel. He does some great content. He does some great writing. He is incredibly talented. Honestly. These, when I recommend people in this community, and I say go subscribe to them, if you do not subscribe to them, you are doing yourself a disservice, okay? I would not recommend somebody who put out crappy content. I put out people that put out stuff that I like, and let's face it, you wouldn't be here if we didn't like a lot of the same stuff, right? So go check out his content, by all means. Thank you, Netter, for dropping that link. Okay, she's, just keep an eye out for Netter. Every time she puts in a link, right click on it, open it, subscribe. Just trust me. If you decide I'm wrong, you can always unsubscribe. It costs you nothing, but you will be sorry if you don't, and you will thank me later if you do.
You know what I've been checking out on HBO Max?
A what on HBO Max?
I've been checking out a cartoon show.
What's that?
The Batman.
Is it good?
Here's what it was. Back in the 2000s, around the same time Justice League was on the air, they made a new Batman series. It was not tied to the other DC animated series. It was its own thing. It was done by the people that did the Jackie Chan Adventures. And I got mad because... The
Jackie Chan Adventures, I remember that.
Yeah, it's same kind of art style. And I wouldn't watch it because they said that the reason we're not getting Batman villains on Justice League anymore is because we're saving them up for the Batman show, Warner Brothers. You know how, like, the studios do this? Yeah, you can't have General Zod or any other Superman villains on for, like, 4
That has been the problem with DC. That has been the problem with DC for the longest time, because you had all this cross-pollination in the comics, but when it came to their live-action stuff, they would never let their peas and carrots touch.
Anyway, so I didn't watch this cartoon because I refused, and then I was like, you know what? I'm sure whatever flaws or whatever issue I had the show, I'm sure it's still better than most things coming out of DC now. And it's not bad. And it actually looks really good in high def. It's a widescreen series. It was
You know,
shot
in my
widescreen. Looks good.
in my reimagining the DC group, you know, we got Mr. Matchstick, and he's always posting about what is going on with the DC animated, you know, features and series and whatnot. Honestly, I don't follow it much. I even have some of the Superman and Batman animated series on DVD. Haven't gotten around to watching them. Actually, full disclosure, the only reason I have them is because I won them in raffles and door prizes in Metropolis, Illinois for the Superman celebration.
Well, that's cool, though.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
They're
fact,
well done. The old school stuff, Bruce Timm and
yeah. And what they've done is they've done a great job of adapting a lot of the comics into animated features. There's a All-Star Superman cartoon. The Death of Superman. Good. They did the Death of Superman.
They kind of stopped with these after a while, but they were basically trying to do like they were all going to be standalone animated films that were more or less inspired by the comic lines, either a graphic novel or maybe a run that happened in Superman comics, and they would just make a standalone feature based on like Death of Superman or Under the Red Hood, you know, and that sort of thing. And they were really well done. They were made straight for video, but they were really well done. And I used to look forward to buying them every couple months. Like they do usually release about 3 a year, okay? And I would buy them day and date. And
you know, I just saw somebody else did a YouTube video about Batman the Animated Series, and basically saying, you know, the guys behind the animated series should have been in charge of the DC cinematic universe. If they had been, it would have been brilliant.
Or people should have at least looked at it as a template, like this is how they integrated it then. Let's see what we can take from this.
Well, they talked about a lot of the things we do, about how they put people in charge of things that are not the right fit. Certain Hollywood people, sure, they know how to make visually appealing films. They know how to write good stories of their own. They do not know how to adapt an existing property. And I don't think that's any clearer than if you just look at the Snyderverse, right? Snyder is great at taking a single comic or a single, you know, comic story and translating it to a visual medium. He takes the comic book and treats it like a storyboard. You think of the 300, you think of the Watchmen. He did a brilliant job with those, honestly. But you look at what he did with, if you give him, you know, 75 years of Superman, you know, he puts the cart in front of the horse. He's putting, you know, The Dark Knight Returns and The Death of Superman up front. It's like, no. The only reason those stories work is because they come after 50 years of history.
Yeah.
Okay? The only reason that The Death of Superman has any gravitas is because you've had years of him being a hero, a beloved hero. When he dies and sacrifices himself for Metropolis, that means something. The way he did it in the second movie, not only does nobody care, but this is the guy that was responsible for the destruction of Metropolis in the last movie. Good riddance to the fucker, is what they're saying. You know?
Yeah, we're all tired. They don't know. I'd like to say they're rudderless, but I don't know that there was ever a rudder. Maybe when Zack Snyder was running the show, there was a rudder.
Cart in front of the horse. That phrase applies to the entirety of the DC universe, okay?
I'm not seeing anything with what's his name.
I just pointed out the thing about The Death of Superman, right? Then you have Batman v Superman, right? Which directly pulls from The Dark Knight Returns. Again, that story makes no fucking sense because in The Dark Knight Returns, in The Dark
in there as well.
The Dark Knight Returns was a future story that pits Superman against Batman because they're ideologically on opposite sides, after having spent years as friends fighting on the same side. So that makes their conflict very, very tragic.
Yeah.
You know? That makes no sense when it's the first time they fucking met.
Yeah, it doesn't. I remember, you know how, like, I mentioned to you the wonderful cartoon Batman the Brave and the Bold, which is more Silver Age comedic, lighter touch Batman stories. They finally did the episode where he runs into Superman, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so used to him and Superman not getting along that on this cartoon they run into each other and they're fine. And you forget that this was something that Frank Miller introduced, right? Like they got along, and Batman's like, I can hang out in Metropolis.
I'll tell you, Frank Miller, although he wrote some great stories, it was really with him that this whole dark, gritty slide towards Brightburn actually started.
Yeah.
It really is, and I think that has done no favors for the comic book industry. It really, really hasn't.
But the Batman the Brave and the Bold episode that I want to mention it was still a Batman versus Superman story. You know why?
Why?
He got exposed to red kryptonite. Superman. No.
Look, I honestly think that the best Batman meets Superman story was done by John Byrne in the immediate reboot of the post-crisis era. They meet because I don't remember what all the details were. If I don't remember if Luthor.
That's the head in the cabinet.
I just got the payoff from the joke that Skipper Kenner said, the head in the cabinet thing. He just sent Netter a picture of it. It's kind of funny. But
terrifying.
Yeah. I mean, it would be, and then you realize where you are and you're like, "Oh God, what did the first shift do?" But yeah, so I want to say it was like Lex Luthor goes to Gotham City or something like that for some business deal or something like that. And I don't know, shenanigans happen and whatnot. Superman and Batman have to team up for some reason. And it really comes down to they're definitely on the same side. They're the good guys. But they have a different way of doing things, right? You got the Dark Knight Detective. You got the superpowered Boy Scout, right? Superman holds himself to this incredible standard because he feels he has to. He's almost a god, right? And what does God do? God doesn't take away your free will. He doesn't instill, a dictatorial rule and say, this is my law and this is the way it will be. He's there to help, point you in the right direction, give you some guidance, save you when you need it, but by and large kind of stays out of it. Where Batman is, vengeance is mine and, beat down the bad guys and, stop the evil. And, he's got this line about, if I had your power, I'd wipe out crime in Gotham City. And Superman says something like, well, it's a good thing then that you don't have my powers, or something like that. They definitely don't see eye to eye, but they have a respect for each other by the end of it. That's the versus part, right? But the best part is the way they part ways. They're on top of I don't remember if it was the Daily Planet or some other building in Gotham or wherever they were. They were on top of a building. And Batman is the Dark Knight Detective, right? So he has figured out Superman's secret identity. And as he's leaving, he does that thing where he jumps off the building and flies away. He goes, well, it's been real. Take care, Clark. And he goes to leave, right? He thinks, I got him. I know his secret identity. And Clark says, take care, Bruce, and flies away. And Bruce is like, he's like, how did he know I'm Bruce Wayne? I lined my cowl with lead foil. There's no way he could see, da-da-da-da. And what it comes down to is you find out, for crying out loud, Clark Kent's an investigative reporter. He's not dumb.
No, he's like a detective.
He's not a slouch as a detective either,
Yeah.
Batman Superman movie of '97 was really good for the characters figuring each other out. Yeah, exactly.
The animated series, like that'll be in your Superman, the Superman animated series sets you have. It'll be in there. It's a 3-parter.
I probably have it. Yeah. I probably actually already have it.
Came out on Blu-ray. Smallville finally came out on Blu-ray.
Oh, that's right. I've been going back to my old comics, and I'd actually forgotten about Magpie. So Batman was hunting down Magpie, and Superman and him got into a tussle because Superman didn't want him in his city. That's what it was. Yeah. And I love that idea. I love that you have to kind of, work through the relationship. They've got to start somewhere. I have seen some great scenes from the animated series, plural. Justice League and Justice League Unlimited and all that kind of stuff. That really shows you the respect that they have for each other. There was a storyline, and Sir Torrin, if you want to help me out with this one too, I guess there was a vote on whether or not they were going to let Batman stay in the Justice League because of some security breach, or they found out that he was figuring out what their weaknesses were and this, that, and the other. And there's this great exchange between Batman and Superman where Superman just kind of poses a question to him that establishes, yes, you're someone that I can... Here it is. Superman reminds him, that he's a reporter. Batman calls it a dying profession, and Superman ends up piecing everything together before Batman. Yeah, I mean, and let's face it, this is one of Superman's most forgotten superpowers. He's a super genius, too. Right? In fact, there was a period of time right around the year 2000 where they were doing this multi-title, cross-title series called Armageddon, and it had to do with all these possible alternate futures for each character. So every annual that year had a different future storyline for the DC characters. People like Batman and Superman got multiple futures because they had multiple titles, and yeah, that's exactly it. There was a what. Basically, the what if came down to in one of his titles, and I don't remember which one it was. Superman's story going forward was very similar to the storyline that happened in Injustice. A nuclear bomb goes off in Metropolis. It kills Lois, all of his friends, Jimmy, yeah, all of them. He kind of becomes a world dictator, gets rid of all nuclear weapons, and instills martial law in the world. But what's really interesting is Superman has this super awareness. So when this character Wave Rider, who's going around and looking into everyone's future, he touches you, he can see your most likely future. Clark senses that. He doesn't remember the details, but he knows there's a nuclear bomb somewhere in Metropolis, and he goes and he stops it. So that future never happens, right? Next time Wave Rider comes and says, well, he's now got a different future. Let me see what it is. In that timeline, Jonathan Kent dies of a heart attack. And it's very much like the movie, right? All these powers. And they even use that line, right? All these powers, and I couldn't even save him. Mm-hmm. But if I had chosen a different path in life, maybe I could have. So he quits being Superman and becomes a scientist. And he starts finding cures for heart disease and cancer and all kinds of stuff. And then he decides he could do even more good for the world if he became president. So he runs for president on the basis of the fact that he was actually born on Earth under the rebooted John Byrne timeline.
What?
Yeah, the rocket that brings him to Earth doesn't actually bring a baby. It's a gestation pod that's put in on a warp drive.
Well,
so he's
weird.
born on Earth.
So
he's actually a natural born
so
citizen.
he's no longer an illegal alien.
Right. That's exactly right. Anyway, so that's the future that he sees. But so that's one possible future for Superman. But then, again, he's like, oh my God, paw, and he takes off at super speed and rushes his father to the hospital and saves him. So with his powers, he was able to save him. But it's not really him that saves him. He takes him to a doctor. A doctor is actually the one that saves him, right? That I thought was also a very interesting insight. Real quick, let me say hi to. I love seeing you in the chat there, Courtney, Fellowship of Oddballs. That's another channel you guys really, really need to be subscribing to. Honestly, I don't get to see her content near as much as I'd like to. I've seen her do.
How does one join a Fellowship of Oddballs?
I think we already are a Fellowship of Oddballs.
Okay.
And if you go and subscribe to her channel, you become part of Courtney's Fellowship of Oddballs. Am I right, Courtney? Is that kind of how it works? That's kind of what I'm thinking. But Courtney, you were just doing a playthrough of the Friday the 13th game. Oh my gosh, that's intense. That's an intense game.
Can you kill? I think you can kill Shelly if you want to in that game, which I would love to do because
actually she was saying, I think you can play as Jason, right?
Yeah.
You can play as Jason against other players.
Yeah, online. It's like a thing. Like I don't know if it's random or like one person gets chosen as Jason, the other have to be the others have to be camp counselors, and
Guys, this was I'd heard of the game before, but hers was the first playthrough that I saw. She was playing with, who was playing Jason on your channel there, Courtney? Was it Crow's Nest? I don't know. Let me know. But it was really, really funny because they were like playing against each other. But then there were these other players. And I guess you can like help each other or you can sabotage each other. It's like, the hell? It's bad enough I got to fight off Jason. I got to fight off the other players too.
Horror movie would be though, right? Like you have in horror movies, you have like the people that are trying to save off the monster, but then you sometimes have a villain in the mix. Remember Paul Reiser in Aliens? Remember that?
Well, yeah, you make an excellent point
Mr.
there.
Cooper in Night of the Living Dead, you always have these villain type characters in these movies. It's but what was I gonna say though? If you play as Jason though, you hear Mrs. Voorhees talking in his head, like "Kill them, Jason." Like she's like he hears.
Yes, I was catching that too. That was very, very. And you can even, if you find the cabin where the shrine to her is made up, you could put on her sweater and like tell Jason to back off or something like that. I mean, it's like.
He gets all confused because he's not that bright. Anyway.
And that is because that's right out of wasn't it
part 2?
Was it part 2? Okay, yeah.
In the part 2, that's how she stays.
I got a drinking problem.
You have a what problem?
Excuse me, pardon me. Yeah. Anyway, but no, yeah. I mean, go check out Courtney's channel. She's got this great. Just to see some of the footage of them playing that game. It's actually freaking brilliant.
Remember, Troy, work is the curse of the drinking class.
Hey, over in Russia, right, they went socialist, and that's when Smirnoff took off. So,
man, vodka became their water. Yes, I know. Anyway, what did I want to say? What's going on lately, though? We have news articles we want to talk about. Remember? The news this week?
Yeah, what do we got going on? I mean,
we have Ruby Rose. There's some counter stories about her.
Yeah, so I'm glad you brought that up. That's okay. So Ruby Rose we talked about this last week on Geeky
Use of
Geezers.
environment on the Batwoman set.
I had said This is her trying to be relevant again. And honestly, I feel like I'm being justified in that comment, right? Because, well, oh, for crying out loud, Courtney, that's what this stream is, right? It's just goofing around. It's just being social. Honestly, you know, your concept of Fellowship of Oddballs, cheers, mate. That's what I'm all about. Okay, so let's just let's grow our community together. You know, as PJ over at Orville Nation always says, right? Oh, and Adega's been gone, so he may not have heard me saying all the nice things about him, and you know, go over to his channel. But you know, again. But yeah, Ruby Rose, oh gosh, she's a piece of work. So she's bitching and moaning about the conditions on the set.
Right.
And she's trying to get sympathy and whatnot. And you would think that if things were that bad, then her compatriots over there would be saying, yep, she's right. It's pretty tough. Nope. She's out on that limb completely alone. They're all saying, yeah, she's full of shit. And she's a piece of shit. I mean, I'm paraphrasing. But she does not have a great, you know, she doesn't have any friends over there. You know, they're saying she basically what I said. She's just trying to be relevant. She's making up shit. All that stuff is a bunch of crap. So I don't know what to tell you about that. But yeah, I think if you're going to make accusations like that, you need to bring the fucking receipts. And she just hasn't done it. In fact, you know, the fact that there's a bunch of testimony from her co-stars and the crew coming out and saying we don't know what the fuck she's talking about doesn't bode well for what she's saying. So I feel justified in what I said last week about her. She's just trying to remain relevant when she's probably never going to work in Hollywood again. She's up there with Cyborg from the Snyderverse. Ray Fisher. They'll never work again. Can't even remember their fucking names.
Okay, so let's see what else is going on in the world. There was the Twix ad, but that wasn't one of our stories. But
oh, for fuck's sake! If you want to talk about the Twix ad, or you want to talk about the Doritos commercial, go listen to Midnight's Edge. They have a great commentary on that.
Okay, I'll look for that.
But let me tell you, actually, I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. But Paulie at Latino Slant had something to say. I don't remember now if it was Latino Slant or Midnight's Edge Espanol, but. Yeah, the Latin community is not real happy right now with Doritos culturally appropriating the Day of the Dead for their woke bullshit.
You think this? I wonder what happens in the boardrooms where this stuff comes up with, right? You know, these billion-dollar
Cameron Posh has talked about it on Midnight's Edge. And he's basically explained what it is. You got these woke dingbats who are more concerned about messaging than they are about profits. And they're like, hey, you know, this is where it's at these days. This is what you got to do. And then, you know, Coca-Cola goes and pisses off everybody by being racist. And they lose sales. And they get shit all over in socialist media. And they're like, okay, our bad. We made a mistake. This is the problem. These companies look at social media and they think it's the world. When really the only people that are really chit-chatting on socialist media are all the blue-haired fucktard weirdos. You know, who aren't buying their products, who don't actually spend money because they don't have money to spend. They need people to buy stuff for them because they're all fucking socialists.
I have to tell you though, but again, speaking of supply chain, the candy aisle was looking kind of thin when I was over in
Yeah, I got a buddy who works for Walgreens, and he says they got shit as far as well, here in the Chicagoland area, we're okay on candy. We can't get like the other Halloween accoutrement in because we have Ferrera candy here in Chicago.
Well, that sounds light. You told me about that. Yeah,
we're okay as far as the most of the popular candies for Halloween. We corner the market on. But anything coming from outside Chicago, we're fucked. And he's saying the same thing about Christmas stuff. He says their Christmas aisle has almost nothing. They got some Hallmark cards and not much more than that. Again, it's probably going to be they're going to get the Christmas candies, but as far as, Christmas trees and things like that, nah, they're really struggling because the supply lines are all completely fucked.
They're foobarred.
Yep. Fucked up beyond all recognition. See, you got to remember, the younger generation may not know what foobar is.
Well,
that's military slang.
There was a time when I didn't know what it meant. I was the young kid. They said, "What does foobar mean?" It's we're all there. We're all there at some point.
I had wanted to go into the armed forces. My mother wouldn't let me. But I had a lot of friends that did, and I did everything I could to support the troops. So, yeah, I knew the lingo. So, yeah, foobar was part of my lingo from very early on. And my mom, she knew. So when I'd say something was foobar, she'd go, that's a little close to actually saying the words. I'd really rather you didn't say it.
It was her email address.
No. Her email address was Fagawi.
Oh, right.
Fagawi. You know what Fagawi is, right? Boomer. It's an old joke. Okay.
I don't know.
So my Uncle Ralph, my great Uncle Ralph, okay, he served in the Pacific during World War II. Some rough stories that I'll never hear now because the only person he talked to about it was my grandmother, and she's passed too now. But he was a prisoner of war over in Okinawa. But he tells a story. He says he used to say this all the time. And he named his boat. He had a boat on a private lake. He called it the SS Fagawi. And this is an old joke. I'm sure there's a lot of people in the chat that already know what Fagawi is. But he said, you didn't know that we're part Indian. He meant Native American. Back then, we said Indian, right? I said, no, I didn't know that. He goes, yeah, the Fagawi tribe. I'm like, get out of here. He goes, yeah, no, the Fagawi tribe. They were a nomadic tribe. And what they would do is they would, travel around hunting. But to find their way, they'd send a scout to climb up a tree. And he'd go, can you see anything? He'd go, no. Where the Fagawi? They were the Fagawi tribe. Yeah, old joke, new audience. Yeah.
Snafu wins the sailor lingo during World War II. Yes.
That's the other one that I used to use all the time too. My dad was a Navy guy too. Snafu. Situation normal, all fucked up.
Yep.
Although, on network television, they'll always tell you it's all fouled up. It
all
still works.
Fouled up?
Yes. It still works.
Yeah, I don't know about that. So let's see. Other news going on in the world. I don't know. Clownfish.
Wait, I got to go back to our MeWe chat. Oh, for all of you that are waiting for the Batgirl movie, or is it the TV show? I don't know now.
The movie.
They're doing a Batgirl movie.
Yes.
Brandon Fraser is playing the villain.
We like Brendan Fraser.
I do like Brendan Fraser. And in fact, I did not actually read the article, but he's playing a character a little bit obscure that I've always been kind of curious about. What's his name again?
You're not bi-curious.
Firefly.
I am not bi-curious.
Firefly.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. I'm happy with what I know. I'm set in my ways.
As the villain. Who's cast as Batgirl?
Who knows? Who
Leslie
cares?
Grace? New Warner DC pick starring Leslie Grace. Let's find out who Leslie Grace is. Because I'm wondering, is this related to the...
They race swapped her, I'm sure.
That's what I'm wondering, because they're doing that. That Commissioner Gordon is black in the new Batman movie.
But he's playing a character named Firefly. The only reason I know of him is because I collected all the who's who in the DC universe through the 80s and 90s. And that's where I know him from. He was an obscure Batman character back in the day.
Hold on, wait a minute. No. Leslie Grace to play Barbara Gordon. Okay, hold on. Now I gotta find this out now. It's back in July. She might be Latina, actually. Okay.
Oh, that's not so bad.
I don't know. But she don't have red hair.
I know. They hate redheads. You know?
I don't know.
It's-
Maybe she's who knows what. I don't know. Anyway,
No,
what were you saying?
I'm
Talk about
getting
Brendan
really
Fraser here.
fucking
Okay.
sick of all these check boxes, you know? And this does nothing for anybody. It's just virtue signaling for a bunch of socialist, elitist pieces of shit. That's all it is. A bunch of fucking rich white people patting each other on the back, jerking each other off in the boardroom, and saying what great people they are because they're throwing pittance to minority groups. You know? I mean, we spent decades being taught in school racism is wrong, okay? And you need to learn to be colorblind. Judge a man by by his nature and character and not the color of his skin, right? Because that's what Dr. Martin Luther King said, right?
That's what we were taught.
Now we're told, no, pay very close attention to our differences and treat people differently based on their color.
Yeah. Oh, read Skipper Kenner's comment, would you?
I was just glad that the Condiment King finally got his 15 minutes of fame.
What happened with the Condiment
Holy
King?
shit.
What happened with the Condiment King?
I don't know, because I'm not following either DC or Marvel
Okay,
anymore,
need
so
to
I don't know
explain to you
who any
who
of these
the
people are.
Condiment King is.
He was...
I believe this is his origin. I think it started on Batman the Animated Series. There's a wonderful
No. It started with
wasn't
Batman the
around before
comic
then?
book series.
Are you kidding me?
I kid you not.
Oh.
I kid
because
you not. He
the
was an
idea-
early Batman character.
No, bull.
Look it up.
No, he was
He's
the
in
catch-
Who's Who.
He was the ketchup master back in the 30s. Come on. I'm sorry.
Okay, maybe he expanded to other condiments as he,
Look, this is the
improved his
idea.
repertoire.
On Batman the Animated Series, okay, there's new villains on the scene, and one of the guys is named the Condiment King.
Yes.
Batman shows up and he says, "Listen, Mustard Man," or whatever your name is. You know.
Hey, if someone squirts mustard in your eye, that's gonna sting, and you'll be blind for at least a little while.
Some guy came up to him, and he squirted hot sauce in his mouth. And
Right?
The guy started coughing and fell over and says, "Anybody else want to be a hero?" You know, that's what he said. And and then he ran into the pack rat after he arrested the Condiment King, and then you know what it was all about. The Joker the Joker borrowed Jervis Tech's, the Mad Hatter's mind control technology, and it was making up stupid villains for Batman to fight, okay? That were based on comedians that laughed him off the stage when he was trying to be a comedian back in the day. So
okay.
it was just,
Well, that would work into this new Joker movie, right?
Yeah, it kind of reminded me a little bit of that, and it was, I'm sorry, it was, I actually, to be fair, I think the Joker disguised himself as a regular comedian. Maybe he put flesh makeup on his face or something. I don't know. And so he could go on stage and pretend to be a comic, and he got booed off.
Is that true, Skipper Kenner?
What?
This is a true supervillain. He should be put away maximum security for life.
Oh, you don't like
I
him,
had
do you?
no idea he was that bad.
You're a mustard man, aren't you?
I'm a Chicago guy. You don't put ketchup
what about
on a Chicago-style hot
pick a
dog.
lily relish?
Yes.
I like
So here's what you put on a hot dog if you want one with everything, right? You put on mustard, onion, pickle relish, tomato, a kosher pickle slice, and very important, celery salt. That's a Chicago-style hot dog.
I'll have to try that sometime.
Now, I know this is anathema to a lot of Chicagoans, but a chili dog is kind of okay in my book. Okay, that's a New York Coney Island type thing. I'm okay with that. Okay? Oh, dude. I was already a fan of yours, okay? But now you're You're just aces, man. Chicago dogs for the win. Absolutely.
Whatever. I'm from the New York area originally.
But you know, this whole idea of
All
hot
about
dogs,
mustard.
the reason hot dogs really took off, and it really did, I'll give credit where credit is due. It started in New York. It was this whole idea of a cheap meal, right? And this whole idea of putting all of these condiments and, you know, pickles and tomatoes and onions, basically a salad, onto your hot dog. For the price of a sandwich, you get a whole meal, right? So then when Coney Island started doing, well, let's put chili and cheese and, you know, other stuff on it, I kind of can't fault that too much. It's a completely different style.
It's like Shaggy and Scooby-Doo hot dog. You're putting all the stuff on top.
Sure. You know, I could get behind throwing a bunch of stuff on a hot dog because I get that idea of getting a whole meal. In fact, we have a place here in Chicago that does the Chicago style, and then the thick cut fries all kind of wrapped together. So when you open it up, you end up with a Chicago style hot dog with the French fries kind of stuck to it. So you're getting potatoes with your hot dog too. It's not bad, actually. It's kind of not bad.
Okay.
But
but
yeah, I'm gonna say Condiment King. You know, if he puts ketchup on hot dogs, I don't know. They must not have the death penalty in Gotham City, but that's what that fucker deserves. But I could see him going around with a gun of, like, you know, habanero hot sauce or something like that. I could totally see that.
What universe does this take place in?
Originally, it was the Golden Age Batman, right? So what would have been in our day Earth 2?
No, I'm trying to say this movie.
What movie?
The Batgirl movie.
Fuck if I know. I don't follow anything in modern day.
Is it in the Snyder universe?
Dude, we're the geeky geezers. We don't give a shit about this new stuff because this new stuff is all shit.
Come on now. Okay. Well, the other big news is Dune.
Well, come on. Am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong. Someone in the chat. Am I wrong? Even you young folks. Do you like the new shit that's coming out at the theaters? I don't think so. Except this is the next news piece. Dune just officially stated this week we're definitely getting a part 2 to Dune. No, I don't think it's making a profit, but no, I don't think they were planning on it making a profit. They knew that they were going to take a loss on it, but it did pretty damn well. It did well in the theaters despite day and date, and they're saying that it did really well on the stream too.
Warner Brothers needs IPs to combat the mouse, okay?
They need IPs to make up for what they're losing with the fucking DC bullshit that we were just talking about.
They completely let that fall apart in their hands. I don't know.
But I told you guys all last week that I really thought that Dune did a great job. It wasn't perfect, but and don't get me wrong, I love the David Lynch film. For all of its goofiness, for all of its differences from the books. But if you're going to remake a Dune series, being more faithful to the books is the way to go, and they definitely were. I'm bothered by what wasn't in it, but from what I've been hearing, I guess there was a lot of scenes that were filmed that didn't make it in and are going to be in some director's cut DVD. So I'm looking forward to that.
Maybe it'll be made into an HBO Max miniseries.
Is that where it came out? Was on HBO Max?
No, I don't. Well, that's where it did the day and date. HBO Max.
Okay, yeah. So they very well could. Unfortunately,
like 3 different versions of Justice League on there.
Unfortunately, that's what they learned from this whole Snyder Cut thing. If we want to make more money, just put together another cut, release it on the stream. People will go for it. You know, I put out shit. People don't like it. Let's re-edit it and sell it to them again. Let's try take 2. Let's try take 3. You know, everything that I've heard was that the Snyder Cut of the whatever Justice League they did was better, and I'm going, well, that doesn't mean shit. It sucked. It couldn't be worse. And then they decide to put it out in black and white too, because reasons.
And not only black and white, but it's also, I believe, in like a full frame aspect ratio, not the widescreen. Remember how TVs used to be?
Why would anyone want to see anything in widescreen now?
No, full frame now, you mean?
I mean, excuse me, full frame. Yeah, I'm a little,
I don't know
okay.
why. Maybe he's trying to make it look like a movie that was made in the 40s. I don't know what the reason being behind it was. I haven't watched it.
If you want to make a movie that looks like it was made in the 40s and make it black and white and put it in full screen, that's fine. Then actually set it in the 40s and retell the story of Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman back in the fucking 40s.
Well, that would cost money.
That would require talent to write a good story too.
Listen.
Which these people clearly don't have. We've already covered all of this.
Okay. Well, we haven't. I think there were some updates on the Rust accident on the accident on the set of Rust, right?
Yeah. So
running his mouth all over Twitter.
At this point, yeah, he still is. So I mentioned this last week, and I've commented on the socialist media. He posted. Alec Baldwin, I'm talking about. He posted back in 2017 something about a bad shoot that a cop made, and he's like, "I wonder what it feels like to take an innocent life," or something like that. And everyone's retweeting it, going, "Well, I guess now you know. This tweet didn't age well," stuff like that. And people are trying to come out and defend him, but it's like, no, I'm sorry, there is no defense. There really isn't. Well, this was an accident. Don't care. He killed an innocent person. Now he knows. He said it. Came to fruition. Karma's a fucking bitch.
Well, no, but isn't there more stuff coming out in the investigation of the person handling this?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming, and now we're starting to get all of our information on that from actual court records. So what we're finding out is confirmation that yes, the gun was used for target practice in off hours. Apparently, the armorer was not even involved in this situation. She wasn't on set. I mean, that's the way it's supposed to go. The armorer is supposed to check and then hand it to the person who's supposed to be using it. Checks it's safe, then hands it to the person using it. That didn't happen because of COVID fucking restrictions.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so we got another fucking COVID death because of the stupid bullshit they're doing.
I have a question for you though.
The
position is called armorer.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like someone who takes care of like weapons and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So why do they keep calling it the prop gun?
Yeah, well, see, that's the problem. So, on the one hand, one could make the argument that any item, any object used in the filming of a movie is technically a prop, right? It's either a prop or it's wardrobe, right? If it's something you wear, it's wardrobe. If it's something you manipulate, if it's part of the set, whatever, it's a prop. So even a live weapon would be a prop. It falls under the umbrella of the property master, but they have a separate armorer who works with the property master to maintain certain regulations and weapon safety and so on and so forth. But Alec Baldwin's defense falls apart because he's the producer and ultimately responsible for all the safety violations. So this was a point I made last week, right? So one could argue that he's responsible because he pulled the trigger. But if not, then he's still responsible because he's the fucking producer. All of it falls under him, okay? No matter how you look at it. That's absolutely right. Anytime you compromise safety, you are responsible. The armorer is responsible for the safety of all the weapons, real or not. And this is a reasonable point. So this leads to what I was getting to. It looks like the armorer wasn't even on set at the time, right? So as the producer, as the director, as the assistant director, everyone should have said, you know what? We can't do this scene. We don't have the armor on set. That would have been the way to do it. Okay? Because the armor is responsible and the armor wasn't there. As soon as you have a COVID situation preventing her from handing a weapon to someone, for being there, social distancing, whatever fucking bullshit they want to bring up, they should have said, you know what? We can't film the scene. Because of COVID restrictions, we cannot film this scene. We either cut the scene, rewrite it so that we can film it, or we don't do this fucking movie. Because I am not being hyperbolic to say a person's life literally was lost because they chose to cut corners. I don't care what the scenario is. Somebody died. You cannot change that fact. This movie was not worth a person's life. Okay? And if you cannot film a certain scene safely and follow the safety regulations because of some restrictions, guess what? This movie sits and doesn't get made until we don't have to deal with these fucking restrictions anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, there's just no fucking way around it. But anyway, we did a lot of speculating last week, and we heard a lot of things from a lot of different legacy media outlets that may or may not have had any relevance, right? But now the data that we're starting to get is coming from court records, okay? So when I say something, it's because it actually came from the court records. So the stuff about the COVID restrictions, the thing about, you know, the armor not being on set, the fact that the assistant director was acting as the armorer and handed the gun to Baldwin.
And I guess wasn't certified to do that job.
Yeah. You know, as to who was doing firing with it, who decided to have live ammunition on set, again, Skipper Kenner's probably right. You know, there is some blame to be given to the armorer for that. There's definitely responsibility on Baldwin. Look, this is going to cost him. If this movie ever gets made, he's not going to see a fucking cent from this. He's going to end up paying it out, you know, in damages and penalties. It's really not good. And IATSE is getting all over this, you know, saying you didn't have union guys involved.
This is proving their point.
It kind of is. You know, it really is. And, you know, some people said, well, it sucks that people are making political arguments about it. Hey, you make hay when the sun shines. And this is what they were saying, and then it happens. You kind of can't blame them for saying, see, we told you so. Okay? We are union workers that are well-trained, and you chose to go non-union. Not as well-trained. Cut corners, cut costs, people lose their fucking lives. Congratulations. Okay? Now, in fairness, a lot of people are pointing out, you know, something like this hasn't happened since Brandon Lee. It's been, what, 30 years? Does someone have to die every 30 fucking years to remind you to be careful? Look, everybody knows that motorcycles are dangerous. But when you first buy a motorcycle, you are really, really careful. Right?
Yeah.
My uncle had a motorcycle, and my grandmother was terrified. You're going to get yourself killed. You're going to end up paralyzed, blah, 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 blah. No, I'm careful. One day, he's out on the motorcycle. He comes home, parks it out in front of... He owned a marina, so he parked it out in front of the marina, went inside, got a for sale sign that he sold, put it out on his motorcycle. Someone came and said, Dick, you're selling the motorcycle? Yep. How come? What's wrong with it? Nothing. It's perfectly good. Why are you selling it? He said, I was out riding my bike and I realized I wasn't afraid of it anymore. It's not safe for me anymore. That's why I respect that man. Very intelligent. You have respect. If you lose respect for something that's dangerous, you shouldn't be touching it anymore.
Good point. Oh, we had another news article.
What's that?
Ice Cube exits Sony comedy. Oh, hell no, after declining the vaccine.
Look, I didn't know too much about Ice Cube before this. I know he was in a couple horror movies that I've seen.
He's an interesting
He's
fellow.
a rapper. Yeah. Got nothing but respect for the guy right now.
Yeah.
He turned down $9 million because he said, no, you will not dictate to me that I get a fucking poke.
He got heat because he had a meeting with the previous president of the United States, and they said, you're not supposed to talk to him. And he says, well, I'll talk to anybody who will have an audience to explain the problems, in the black community. And he was saying that, he was...
Hang on a second. I want to back up for a second, because this is an important point that Adega Outlaw brings up. I want to go back to that last topic. Sure. So they were talking about this on Midnight's Edge, and one of the things that Script Doctor pointed out, Script Doctor is... He's a script writer, and he's intimately involved in filmmaking and so on and so forth, and all of these rules.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so he kind of knows. And so everybody keeps saying, look, everybody, every step of the way needs to check that weapon. And he said, well, here's the problem. If the armorer hands you the gun and says, you're good to go, and you open the gun, then they got to stop and start the whole process all over again. Okay, so if Alec Baldwin had taken that gun and opened it to check, then we got to stop and go back to square one. The armorer's got to come in and check it. Prop master has to check it. The time that Alec Baldwin should have checked it was when the armorer did her check on it, said, yep, this is safe. See, this is safe. Closed it, and then handed it to him. That's the way it was supposed to have gone. Mm-hmm. So he's kind of right, but that ship had already sailed by the fact that the armorer wasn't even on set anymore to recheck it. They never should have been filming that scene that day, is what it really comes down to. If they were going to follow the rules, they needed to have the armorer on set. She needed to check it in front of not only Alec Baldwin, who was going to fire the weapon, but anyone that might have been in front of it and possibly been a target, anyone he would have pointed it at. So in this case, it would have been the grip, who was behind the camera, the assistant director, and so forth. So yeah, I'm just kind of... But these things are starting to really, really matter, because we are now starting to talk about legal issues and so forth.
Yep.
But as we've said on many, I'm empty here. As we've said on all of our channels, these things really matter. So-called prop guns, anything that goes bang, okay, is dangerous, because there is black powder involved. There is, blanks are every bit as dangerous. Well, and we know this from Brandon Lee. Okay.
You know that from that story you told me about that television series actor, the one.
Yeah. So John Eric Hexum puts a gun to his head because it contains blanks, and he knows it contains blanks. Pulls the trigger, shoots a wad into his brain case, and he dies at the hospital. Right. Kind of painful way to die, too. But that was because there was a packing wad in there. Doesn't matter, though, because I've seen plenty of YouTube videos where they load a blank into a gun and just put the gun next to somebody's head, and not a person's head, a mannequin head, and fire it. And the discharge from the side of the gun, just from the side of the gun, the gas being expelled cracks the mannequin head. Okay? Not to mention it would deafen you. Okay? But that gas coming out of the barrel, right point blank, that's just as good as a bullet coming out. It doesn't need to be a solid object. Just like if you dive into water, okay, from high enough at terminal velocity, it'll kill you, because the surface tension, it's like hitting a brick pavement, So, yeah, people need to understand those things. So, there's lots of other channels out there covering it way better than I am, But if this is the only place you hear it, understand it. But anyway, go on.
The Ice Cube story, I'll read from
yeah, absolutely.
From Hollywood Reporter. Ice Cube has departed Sony's upcoming comedy, Oh Hell No, in which he would have co-starred with Jack Black after declining a request from the producers to get vaccinated, sources tell The Hollywood Reporter. Sony has no comment. A personal representative for the star declined to comment. WME, his agency, declined to comment. Oh Hell No is being produced by Matt Tolmack and Black, who both did not offer comment. Okay, well, I noticed that a lot of these things lately, it's always like this faceless person. Like, remember when Gina Carano got let go? It was a Lucasfilm representative. Who? Which one? Did this person have a name?
Yep.
We never know anything that goes on behind the scenes.
That's true.
This faceless. Okay. The film is being pushed back its production start. Black injured himself in June while filming a gag for a last episode of Conan, but is still attached to the project. Sources tell THR this studio is looking to find a replacement for Ice Cube, who walked from a $9 million payday just to not, I guess, be forced to get vaccinated. Okay.
Yeah.
Throughout the pandemic.
So
Ice
this
Cube
is.
has
This is
mask wearing. Okay.
This is another example. This one actually within Hollywood, okay, and we've had a couple of celebrities already say stuff on socialist media. People I don't know, people I don't follow, whatever. But apparently they have big followings, and people are pointing out these are influencers, and this is someone turning down big money, saying, no, we ain't going to do it. And this falls right in line with, the airlines and the police and the medical professionals all saying, no. We may or may not have gotten the jab, but we will not accept the mandate that we must. My body, my choice, right? And you can't tell me that I'm going to get a stick, and if something goes wrong and I have a side effect and I die or I have a heart attack or a stroke or something like that, I can't sue? Fuck that shit. If it's so safe, you don't need to put law in place that protects these pharmaceutical companies. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. So you said you have newfound respect, though. That's what you were saying.
Oh yeah. Anybody who's got a conviction like that turns down $9 million? Hell yeah. When you have convictions, and I don't care, even if they were convictions I didn't agree with, okay? But your convictions are more important to you than $9 million? You better believe I am going to respect that. What was that Tim T-Bone, whatever his name was, football player who,
T-Bone.
Yeah, him too. He took a financial hit because he had personal convictions. And what about the and I'm forgetting this guy's name too. He gave up his NFL career to go into the military, to serve his country. It's like, there's people out there whose convictions are more important to them than money. That's saying something, Real quick, I want to say hi to Matthew Flynn, the gladiator of Kaon. So look, guys, I always hold up the people in my chat that have channels. If you are a Transformers fan, if you are a Ben 10 fan, okay, definitely check out his channel. He's got some great content. He's got me on his channel every other week talking about Ben 10. He's got me watching this show from the...
And me.
Well, yeah, and you too. Yeah, you took a little break for a while, but yeah, you've been there too.
You say I got you, babe, before the streams. I
don't want to go singing any songs that's going to get somebody, hit with a copyright strike or whatever.
Everything's copyrighted now.
Oh gosh, but Yeah. So, is this a family-friendly stream? Did I come at the wrong time? No. So in my first, the first time I put together my opening monologue, I said I want my show to be the kind of show that you can take your mom and your dad, your brother, your sister, your wife, and kids, to go sit around a bar and listen to. Okay, so if you could take your family to a bar, then yeah, you could probably hear my content. You're gonna hear some F words. You're gonna hear some strong language. You're gonna hear maybe some political talk. Okay, but relatively family friendly, I suppose. Yeah, it's an Italian. Skipper Kenner puts it perfectly. It's an Italian family friendly show. That's exactly right. Vaffanculo, you don't like it, okay? But yeah. But Netter dropped the link. Like I said, if you're a Transformers, and I mean classic Transformers, not this Michael Bay bullshit Transformers. If you're into the classic, the cartoons, the comic books, the toys.
No Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, no Shia LaBeouf bullshit. That goes for Indiana Jones too. But yeah, check out his channel. And Matthew Flynn, help me out here. Are we on Sunday morning or is it the following Sunday morning? I don't really remember. Okay. Yeah. So, just to sum it up, an Italian-friendly show. So, lots of shouting and occasional hitting. Yeah, occasional hitting. Yeah, I suppose so. You right up the back of your head. Snap out of it, But, oh, here we go. Yeah, thank you. I saw that coming.
What'd you get?
She just slapped me upside the head.
Oh.
You saw it all. It was abuse.
Wasn't there some song like "What's the matter, you? Hey, shut up."
What's the matter for you? Shut up in your face. Yeah. That's a song I think if Paulie the Latino Slant ever starts doing the karaoke again, that's a song I think I want to do for karaoke. Definitely.
Oh man.
But yeah, and that's Amore. That one I definitely. But I'll do that on his channel because I'll let him deal with the possible copyright strikes. Speaking of copyrights and the YT overlords and all that sort of stuff. So we're going into November, right?
No.
We are now in the holiday season, right?
The holiday season.
You
like the sound of that, right?
And November after Thanksgiving, we go into what's the next holiday after Thanksgiving?
Christmas?
Nope, before that.
Hanukkah?
Life Day.
What?
If you are a Star Wars fan, the next holiday after Thanksgiving is Life Day. Yes. And every year for the past 3 years, I've been doing a rewatch on my channel of the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Alexa won't have it on mine.
Only because Netter will not host it on hers. That's absolutely right. Alexa, stop. I don't want to hear what you have to say about the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Ask Alexa if she likes the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Alexa, do you like the Star Wars Holiday Special?
I don't know that.
Yeah, you're probably better off.
Nobody
She doesn't know that, and she's probably better off for not knowing.
I remember when I asked Alexa one time, I was like, Alexa, who's your favorite Avenger? She goes, oh, Black Panther. And I'm like, that's the trendy answer. Later, they change it later on. Now it's Vision, if you ask her. Because Vision's a robot. But that
makes sense. That one actually makes perfect sense to me.
But
yeah.
Black Panther, I'm like, okay. Everybody loves Black Panther. I understand. It's just
yeah. So I want to do a rewatch, but I don't want to just do a rewatch of the original Star Wars Holiday Special. We've done that the past couple of years. I want to do a fan edit of the Star Wars Holiday Special. Now, here's the thing: it's not available out on the internet anymore. So what I was thinking of doing And if you are following my channel, you may have seen I did a little less than 1 minute blurb hinting at the fact that I'm starting a Discord. So I started a Discord, and I will share the link with you in the coming weeks, where I will stream the Thank the Maker edit of the Star Wars Holiday Special. Okay? I personally think it's a much better version. It's at least shorter, so that helps.
He doesn't sing.
No, I think she still does sing. No, you're right. They edit out Carrie's singing at the end. We just have an instrumental at the end. I don't know why my nose is itching. Excuse me. Sorry.
Itchy.
Yeah. Itchy. Yes, that's Chewbacca's father. Or father-in-law. I'm not sure which. But
you ain't marrying my daughter. I bet that was a story, huh?
Oh yeah.
Get the blessing of the dad. I was like working Wookiee culture. I don't know.
Actually, Itchy is actually canonized. The holiday special in totality is not canonized, but the existence of Itchy is. He appears in the prequel. What is it? The Revenge of the Sith. He's one of the what's it called? The Wookiees in the Battle of Kashyyyk.
That Yoda was talking to, right? Yeah,
yes, exactly. So anyway, she's a saint. No, he's not. If you've seen the holiday special. So anyway, Thank the Maker is a YouTuber. He hasn't put out content in a while, and he took down his edit of the Star Wars Holiday Special. But I got a copy of it because what do I always say? Always own physical media. I pulled down a copy of it, wrote it to a DVD, right? In fact, I'm sending a copy of it to Tom Connors of Midnight's Edge because we were talking about it a bit. But he takes out a lot of the goofy what's it called? Variety show elements and all of that kind of stuff. He replaces them with other footage. For example, instead of that goofy, what is it? Not Moment Champs. What is it? The Cirque du Soleil holographic thing that Lumpy watches on the holographic table. It's superimposed with the opening of the Droids animated series. It's kind of neat, and there's some other, things that are replaced there. This is going to sound bad, but hear me out on this.
Here we go.
The whole segment with Diane Carroll, in the mind evaporator, the so-called Wookiee porn, they swap her out for a scene from Star Wars Underworld. Do you know what Star Wars Underworld is?
No, I haven't heard that title before. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, well, there's actually two. That title is used for a project that never happened. It was meant to be a streaming series about the Underworld. Never happened. But that title was also used in the adult entertainment industry for a porn parody that takes place in, cantinas with aliens and so on and so forth. And there's a scene where it takes place in a cantina, and you got people out on the dance floor dancing, and there's a Twi'lek girl, and whatever race Ahsoka Tano's race is, and they're out on the dance floor dancing together. That's what he's seeing instead of Diane Carroll. Nothing untoward. Little, PG-13-ish, okay, looks really good. And the first time I saw it, I'm like, where the hell did this footage come from? I did a little, searching around. I'm like, oh, my goodness. Uh-oh. Oh, my. Had no idea this thing exists. Anyway, all of the dialogue between the Wookiees gets subtitles.
So that makes that less dull when they're yelling at
not only less dull, some of it is very funny. because he comes up with these brilliant things that they say, which are just hysterical. There's the scene where they go to call Princess Leia because they're worried about Chewbacca. Where is he? And she gets up from the desk and she walks around the desk, and it's very clear that Carrie Fisher is,
Wrong?
she's on something there. She's because she stumbles, right? And the caption, Mala turns to Itchy and says, "I think the princess has already started the life day cheer." I mean, those are the kind of lines you get. It's really, really good. So what I want to do is I want to do this as a rewatch on my channel, but I'm gonna do the rewatch the way we normally would, okay? Where it'll be just like this, and you'll hear our commentary, but you won't see the movie. What you'll have to do is I'll have the link down below to my Discord. You come join the Discord, you come watch it with me on the Discord, okay? And I'll be kind of simulcasting. At least that's my plan right now. That's how I'm planning to do it. So, and, I mean, what? We have 5 people watching right now, right? I don't usually get more than a dozen people, okay? What I'm thinking is, if you're in the chat, okay, and you want, at the end of this thing, you want a copy of the DVD, send me your contact information where I can send you the DVD. I'll send it to you. That's the door prize for coming and doing the rewatch with me. Okay?
Okay.
That's what I'm planning to do this year for Life Day. That'll be your Life Day gift. Let's see. People need to see the holiday special in its original form so they can be psychologically damaged the way George Lucas intended.
Like 2 or 3 times already. I'm not doing it again.
I will also I will share a link to the original holiday special. It's out there on the YouTubes. You could do a search for it.
That stupid skit with the guy who's the android, but it's remember that
Harvey Korman. Yeah,
he's like
that was terrible.
Stupid.
Although the one that's classic is where he does the Julia Child forearm.
Julia
alien.
Child serving with the multiple hands.
Whip, whip, stir, whip, 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 stir. I'm actually working on a custom figure for the Star Wars Holiday Special. For that
I'd rather
character.
watch the Donnie and Marie. Donnie and Marie did a Star Wars special once. Did you know that?
They did a sketch on their variety show. Yeah,
and it had what's his
with
name?
Chris Christopherson, as I recall.
Yeah, it's like the Han Solo type of character. I'm thinking Chris Christopherson. If anyone could fill in Harrison Ford's shoes, it might have been him.
Look, what was really classic was Donnie played Luke and Marie played Leia, and at that point we didn't know they were brother and sister. That turned out that aged really well. That aged perfectly.
Yeah,
I got to tell you.
And what Paul Lynde was in there as the Imperial guy. Remember that, Paul Lynde?
Paul Lynde, yes. Well, Paul Lynde was in like their show like all the time. He was like he was in like every other episode. Absolutely.
Paul Lynde has a Halloween special with Kiss as guest stars.
I actually have that on DVD as well. I downloaded it and wrote it to DVD because these are things that I remember from my childhood.
White's in that special.
Betty White is in it, and you know who else is in it? Margaret Hamilton.
Oh, okay.
She reprises her role as the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah, and I think also Witch Hazel's in it from like those Disney cartoons.
No. Witchy Poo from H.R. Puff and stuff. Apparently, Witchy Poo and the Wicked Witch of the West are sisters, based on the continuity of this Paul Lynde special.
H.R. Puffin stuff.
H.R. Puffin stuff.
I didn't watch it. That was before my time.
I am a little bit older than you, so
you were stuck in the 70s shows where all the creators were all.
But that's also why I remember the Captain Marvel live-action film or show and The Secrets of Isis. Yeah,
who's a lead actress we lost recently. Rest in peace. Yeah.
Yep. Skipper Kenner, you're absolutely right. It was Kiss's first TV appearance, and there's this great line where Pauline says, "Oh, I love Kiss." He had no fucking clue who they were.
Gene Simmons comes out full makeup on, looks like he's gonna breathe fire on something. I don't know.
It was an appropriate appearance, I think, for them. Was Alice Cooper in it too? I don't remember. He was in the Muppets Halloween episode.
He was in a Muppets one. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
So was Blondie. Blondie was on the Muppets once.
Yeah.
Muppet Show once. Yeah, I remember that. They
well, actually, Debbie Harry was, not the whole band.
Debbie Harry, excuse me. Yeah. Okay, but I think in fact that's what got in the trouble recently, because I think Johnny Cash was there, and I think they had a Confederate flag up in the background, and people were complaining on the about a show made in the 70s.
Yeah, fuck them all. I don't give a shit.
That was one of those things where Disney had to offer an apologetic disclaimer before the Muppet Show.
Sir Torrin is absolutely right. When Paul said, "I love Kiss," he probably meant it a different way.
Well,
he wanted 2 lips on his organ.
Oh man. Have you seen the fake 1970s Avenger promo?
Yes, I have.
I love it. It's
where he's Mephisto?
No, not Mephisto. Loki. He's Loki.
He's Loki. That's right.
And like they had all the different, like, I don't know where they got this Iron Man suit from. I don't think it was from an Iron Man special.
No, it wasn't. Somebody told it was like Rocket Man or something like that. I don't remember.
But of course, you have the Incredible Hulk, because there was the Incredible Hulk in the 70s, and they had
the Incredible Hulk and Thor.
Because they did it. That Thor guest.
They did. Yes, it was the Was that the death of the Incredible Hulk?
No, it was a different one, but Thor guest starred in one of them. I remember that.
Or the Return of the Incredible Hulk, maybe. It was the Return of the Incredible Hulk. Because Thor was the first one, and then it was the Trial of the Incredible Hulk that had Daredevil and Kingpin, played by John Rhys Davies.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I guess it was who was his defense attorney? Probably Matt Murdock, right?
Matt Murdock was his defense attorney, absolutely. And let me think. And then it was the death of the Incredible Hulk. I can't remember if there was a Marvel character there. But then, of course, you have, the Nicholas Hammond Spider-Man. You had the, was it Matt Salinger's?
It would have been interesting in Death if it was Thunderbolt Ross was the villain. Who was the villain in that? It would have been interesting if it was General Ross finally catching up to him. I don't know, but
I don't really remember.
Go there probably. That's the problem with some of these made-for-TV things. They didn't necessarily understand that you want to use the rich tapestry of all what's in the comics.
Well, no. See, in fairness,
licensing thing.
A lot of times it was licensing. Yeah, they didn't have the rights to almost. In fact, that was the problem with the Nicholas Hammond Spider-Man. They didn't have the rights to any of the villains for Spider-Man. They just had They had Spider-Man.
J. Jonah Jameson, hopefully.
Jameson. Okay. Who was the secretary? Betty. No, it wasn't Betty Brant. It was the other one. I forget.
I know who you're talking about, though. Yeah.
And that's about it. That was about it. But it was good for what it was. Was She-Hulk in the death of Incredible Hulk?
Well,
I'm not sure. Because I know they were originally going to cast Brigitte Nielsen. And they played around with, are they going to put her in green makeup? Then there was test footage of her just with green hair.
No.
And I don't actually remember them actually doing it. I have it on DVD. I could check. Obviously not now during the stream, but yeah, it was a no. He says no, I was wrong. She was supposed to be, but yeah, it fell through. That's what I thought. Because there was talk about possibly doing a She-Hulk spin-off kind of a thing. But the whole reason it all fell apart was, right after the death of the Hulk, Bill Bixby actually died. So that killed it.
Gonna put the kibosh on it. I like, though, even in the Edward Norton movie, he's changing the channels on TV, and you see an old, I don't know if it's an old movie with.
It was the courtship of Eddie's father.
Yeah. And Bill Bixby's in it. I thought that was a neat little cameo because
it was nice. It really was nice.
That's actually the right way to do a cameo if you're trying to pay respect. Show
Yep.
like an old movie they were in, something like that. Instead
Yeah,
of-
you don't have to CG him onto somebody or
some
something
bust
like
of
that.
Egon or some nonsense in the just no, don't do that. Okay.
Well,
just-
that's basically what I'm hearing is there's footage that's come out that they have Harold Ramis in Ghostbusters Afterlife in some archive footage after they defeat Stay Puft. You know, he's covered in the goo.
Yeah.
He gives a big hug to Janine, and it's caught on TV, and somebody's got like a videotape of it or something like that, and they're playing it. And I'm like, that's nice. That is really nice.
cool. So it's like you get to see something you haven't seen before because it's
Yeah. Just one, little archive scene that, you know, I don't think was in the movie.
But
But
you can have it be in the movie now as footage from like the actual event, that sort of thing.
yeah, exactly.
I like that.
So yeah, I think I'm really looking forward to that. You know, that's what, November 19th?
Well, that could be the movie of the year, I think.
Yeah,
Maybe.
make sure. Yeah, Dune is doing well, but it's not going to pull a profit. I think Ghostbusters Afterlife, because Ghostbusters Afterlife, you know, it's not going into its domestic release the way Dune did, where it has millions from overseas. What it does have is millions of marketing dollars from all the toys and accessories that have been going out. Just this week, Hasbro Pulse put out their HasLab for a proton pack, you know, that goes with the Neutrona one that came out last year, and it's less than $400. It's actually not a bad deal. I've actually seen some people in the Ghostbusters community getting upset. They're like, I just spent over $1,000 on my custom-made one. I'm like, well, it sucks to be you. You should have waited. You know? And as it is, and Nanette's like, well, what are we going to do with the $70 Spirit Halloween's ones we got? I said, well, that's what we're going to be wearing to the premiere, because we won't be getting the HasLab until, you know, next year, you know. But we're gonna have our Ghostbusters kit, let me tell you, and there's not going to be any of that reflective tape like there was in 2016. That bullshit.
2016.
Yeah.
It's been a long road to get this to where we are now. I'm trying to think though. I don't even know what even is
Wait.
coming up this year.
Agent Boomer, are you saying it's been a long road getting from there to here?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, those people that didn't care for Star Trek Enterprise, you know, by comparison, that looks pretty damn good now, doesn't it?
Yeah. By the way, I know that you have sort of a rule about not throwing shade at other YouTubers, but I have to bring up a Mr. Birdman, Daniel Herron, on this stream.
Oh shit! You're not only gonna cast shade at another YouTuber, you're gonna cast shade at another YouTuber who has just been in the chat, so he may very well be listening.
He referred to himself, like I said, hey, I brought up DC stuff with him on the stream. He's like, well, yeah, I don't care. And he's like, what do you mean you don't care? He's like, I'm a Marvel fan. And I'm like, oh. And it was this big, horrible thing. I didn't realize he was Marvel over DC. And I was like, yeah, I know you're a big fan of Spider-Man. I mean, granted, he got his own.
There was a
other
series
than that,
of
he's a great hero there. I'm just saying.
There was a series of videos with the action figures. I'm a Marvel and I'm a DC, and it was based on the whole I'm a Mac, I'm a PC thing.
Whatever. I like
Skipper
DC.
Kenner, thanks for hanging out with us as long as you could. I'm guessing the fact that you've been here this long means that you didn't have a call tonight, and that's a good thing. Stay safe out there, keep your boys safe, and have a great weekend. Take care, my friend. Hope to get together with you real soon. He's my hookup for all the Mego figures. All these figures you see behind me. He's out there, in the stores, hunting for them. And, is there anything you want me to pick up? Hey, if you see, a James Kirk in the green shirt, make sure you get me one, would you?
Whoa.
And, yeah.
Well, what
Stuff
is
like
the
that.
point of the green shirt? Was that like why did he have the green shirt sometimes? What was that all about?
So so there's some story there. The in-universe story is Rank has its privileges. So the captain gets an option of having a wraparound tunic. Is really what it comes down to. But the fact that it was
I just had a vision of Jean-Luc Picard wearing that wonderful pajama outfit he had on the bridge, and they said, "Captain, you're not. Frank has its privileges." You know, remember those horrible pajamas he wore, the half bathrobe that barely covered.
Frank has its privileges.
I'd like to see that on Deanna Troi or Beverly Crusher, not on you, Mr. Picard.
I'll tell you what, they got some great outfits too in that show. Let me tell you. I remember an episode where Gates McFadden. What was it? Dr. Crusher. Dr. Crusher and Deanna Troi were doing aerobics or Pilates or whatever, and no, not the Tai Chi. They were in yoga pants and they were stretching out.
The 80s.
Oh, that could have gone porn parody at any moment. That was some But so the color of the tunic.
Yeah, he's wearing it's green.
The fact that it's green. Okay. So here's the story behind that. The gold uniforms weren't actually gold. They were supposed to be green. They just didn't turn out that way. The color got very muted as soon as it was washed. And then under the lights, the green was completely lost. So in camera, it looked gold. And so the tunic that they made up for him was what the color was supposed to be. That's the behind-the-scenes story.
That's the behind-the-scenes story of
that.
Okay.
Yep. So that's a little bit of your daily dose of Trek trivia for you.
Trek trivia. Okay, well, that's good to know.
But, so you know what? If this experiment with the holiday special works out on my Discord, maybe we'll do that again in the future, and I'll show some other videos that you can't find out there anywhere, like the adult Star Trek parody edited to be PG-13.
Okay. But
because if you go searching for it, you might find the wrong version.
Is Netter going to be doing the Charlie Brown Thanksgiving special again this year?
I don't know, Netter. Yep, she's giving me the thumbs up, so she is.
Find out when it is, because I know Daniel wants to do something for Thanksgiving, but we could probably do both. I could probably hop on his, then hop on hers, or something.
That would be awesome. Great.
I like the Thanksgiving special. Says they got into trouble because Franklin was sitting all by himself, and they remember the SJWs were screaming about.
Isn't it enough they haven't invited him? You know, come on.
They're like the Packlets. They look for things.
November 27th, she says.
Listen, if I had been running Star Trek and I would be doing like Star Trek: The Next Generation, the major foe of the Federation would have been the Packlets. Okay. No, think about it. Come on. The Packlets are just destabilizing the galaxy. Okay, what do you think, huh?
I do like the Packlets. Mr. Matchstick just joined us. How you doing, Matchstick? Subscribe to Mr. Matchstick he's got a lot of great gaming content, game playthroughs. He's doing the Arkham series, a lot of anime stuff over there, and at least once a month, he's going to be doing, sometimes with us, sometimes with some other YouTubers, a series called Culture Fortress, where people talk about entertainment that they've enjoyed over the years that you may not have heard of, kind of give you a little bit of an education about it so that you can seek it out yourself. Stuff that was good, classic, and has not been corrupted by the modern wokeitude.
Wokeitude?
Yes.
I like that word. That's a good word.
Just thought of it. It was rum-induced, so it's good.
Wokeitude.
Mm-hmm.
Wonkatania.
And Netter, of course, is doing her awesome blue wrench job of dropping the links. So again, hit that, right click on that, open up another tab so that you can subscribe to it.
And I gotta be honest with you in the chat, that's a super scary movie. Okay, you may be soiling your shorts when you watch it. I'm just giving you a warning, heads up.
I didn't think it was as scary as the clown and the tearing off the guy's face in the first one.
No, the clown didn't tear off the guy's face. You're obviously.
I'm talking about two different scenes.
Yeah,
yes,
they're two different scenes. No, the scene is he goes to get the chicken, and the maggots on the
and
chicken.
It's covered in maggots, so he gets sick. He goes tears off his face. In the other room, the kid is dealing with the clown attacking him.
You realize that Poltergeist was a PG movie, right? Back in the day.
I know, but then again, so was Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
No, I know that, man.
So was Gremlins.
Yeah, but the guy's peeling his face off. I'm like a little kid.
That freaked me the fuck out. It really did.
Oh, I want to turn my head there. I don't want to see this. Okay.
And that damn tree outside his window.
I didn't like the tree.
No, I agree with you.
I didn't like the swimming pool.
Honestly, I think with real bodies in it.
That was horrible.
Yep. So, Poltergeist 3, I think the worst scene in it is there's a scene of Carol Ann looking into a mirror. And they do that whole thing where the mirror doesn't respond the way the person looking into it does.
Yeah, I don't like that.
And then it grabs her through the mirror. Yeah, that's probably the scariest scene in it, to be honest with you.
That evil preacher guy, wannabe preacher guy, who's I don't know. Oh, by the way, remind me tomorrow if I think of it. I have a scary story about the Viper to read before the movie starts.
Viper. Okay.
Yes,
okay.
Okay. You just remind me. Okay. All right. I'll try and remember. Yeah.
But
it goes with what we see on screen in the movie, and I want to bring it up. Okay. All right. If
Netter and I will give.
Netter would indulge me. Okay?
Oh, absolutely.
It's a short one.
And Netter and I will give you all the scoops about the filming locations. It all takes place in Chicago.
Nice building, actually. That looked like a very fancy building.
The outside or the inside? Because they were two different buildings.
Oh, well, heck, I don't know. I'm thinking of the inside.
So the exterior was John Hancock building. Okay, so that's the second tallest building in Chicago. I worked in that building for a while, but the interior is a completely different building. That's Water Tower Place. They have a shopping center and whatnot, and that's where Netter's scenes take place, is in Water Tower Place.
Cool.
Yep. But and actually some of the scenes in the parking garage weren't even filmed in Chicago proper. They were filmed out in the suburbs. I want to say Oak Brook. And I worked with a guy who actually got to watch some of the filming. I was a caddy at Butler National Golf Course, and one of the other caddies was like, yeah, I got to watch them at a distance. It was in this parking garage, and they had smoke to make it look cold and stuff like that. So that little girl that played Carol Ann was a little bitch. I'm like, yeah, that's what I've heard too, Sorry to speak ill of the dead, but, we got to call things the way they were, But
Matthew Flynn, he says, you got to real hard to scare me. Let me tell you something. There is crap going on with the mirrors. There are people who come out of the mirrors, and they're not who they're supposed to be. And Tom Skerritt's mustache is the most terrifying thing in that movie.
Tom Skerritt's mustache is pretty damn scary, I got to tell you. Laura Flynn Boyle, this is one of her early roles, too.
Yes. Yeah, poor Lara Flynn Boyle. Okay.
Well, I don't know what happened to her, but something really happened to her. Let me tell you.
Don't look up pictures of her. I feel bad. Anyway.
Yeah, something happened there. That's
but what was I going to say? But the early Lara Flynn Boyle, she was in Wayne's World. Remember Wayne's World?
Yes.
She was Wayne's ex-girlfriend. She says, I bought you a gun rack for your birthday. And he says, why... For the gun that I don't own, why would I need a gun rack? And he was like, and she's like, well, you don't like it, just say. And like he's like, we broke up. Stop, leave me alone. It's like she's just. That's a funny movie, Wayne's World. That's a classic.
Obviously, her most famous role is Donna in
Twin Peaks.
In Twin Peaks, yeah. Mm-hmm. Recast in the movie because she wasn't coming back for whatever reason. There's a lot of stories about what went on behind the scenes there, but yeah.
I like the actress who replaced her, though. She was on, I think she was on one of those CW shows, the teen ones, back in the day before they went weird.
I mean, she was, as far as acting goes, she did fine. I didn't think she was the best replacement for Lara.
No one's going to replace Donna because it was iconic at that point with Lara Flynn Boyle.
Yeah. But you know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I have my speculations about that, but that's another story. Anyway, so it's been 2 hours. I think it's time to wind this whole shindig down. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so that's what we got going on. I'm gonna have definitely. I got my setup with the lights and everything. I'm gonna do some filming tomorrow. I'm gonna get as many of my toy videos done as I can and put them out over the next couple weeks. And I got to start filming some videos related to the holiday special, some toy videos related to that as well, some of my custom figures and so forth.
Cool.
So yeah,
Sounds
that's what I got going on. I also I'm gonna get a couple of videos put up on my Carton the Klingon Cleric, my sister channel. I've got some books to show that I picked up, and I got to do another cooking video, another Klingon cooking video. I'll get that done in the very near future for your holiday cooking. And yeah, so like we said, tomorrow night over on Netter's Network for Poltergeist 3. No Matthew Flynn on Sunday. It'll be the following Sunday. But Sunday night over on Age of Boomers channel, where this guy over here, I got to get this right because I got to remember the cameras backwards. This guy over here, his channel, we will be watching The Evil on Sunday night. Happy Halloween. And are you willing to talk about what's going on Soundtracks with Birdman, or are you guys like falling out or something?
We're fine. We're fine.
Okay,
we just had a disagreement over the fact that DC is superior to Marvel, and he disagreed. Anyway,
both of them suck at this point. They're both shit.
That's true. We're talking about the classic sense.
What are you arguing about? Which is less shit? Congratulations on that argument.
Anyway, we will be doing The Omen, the 2006 remake of The Omen on Soundtracks with Birdman on Wednesday. We're going to be wrapping up our Omen series.
You're not doing Omen 4 with Faye Grant?
Okay, for starters, I haven't seen it. I do have it, though. I should watch it before we do the next stream just so I can give people the skinny on it. But no, we're doing the remake because the remake was, we're doing the soundtracks. It's about having a score. I'm sorry. I don't think that made-for-TV movie probably didn't have a Jerry Goldsmith score, okay?
Yeah,
I don't
probably
think that's
not.
happening.
Unless they're using music from the previous ones.
Let me tell you, I don't want to watch the made-for-TV movie. I know it's not going to be good. I know it's going to be like whatever happened to Rosemary's Baby, which was the follow-up to Rosemary's Baby, where Patty Duke played Rosemary. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I think I did.
Adrian's all grown up and he's into the rock and roll, and Ray Milland as the one.
And that's from the devil, so.
Yeah, and Ray Milland is in it. Ray Milland, I have to admit, you know the actor I'm talking about, Ray Milland? He's just funny.
I don't, but if I saw him, probably I'd know.
Some of those Roger Corman movies. He's a funny actor. Anyway, The Evil. We're doing The Evil, 1978 American supernatural horror movie, directed by Gus Trinkaus. If we go by what Wikipedia tells us, it is a super scary movie. Okay, and it's 89 minutes. It is available on Shout Factory TV. Along with many other movies. They actually have, that's pretty cool. They have some free movies on there if you want to go to Shop Factory TV they got some free horror movies on there.
I'll tell you what, Tom Connors over on Midnight's Edge After Dark is always talking about them. He's doing a series about Blu-ray and
they do good Blu-rays, yeah.
And 4K. So
yeah, they're all about the 4K now.
So he's always talking about the Shout Factory. Mr. Matchstick this Tuesday. That Culture Fortress that I was talking about. That's why you guys should be subscribing to him. Talking about Lupin the Third. If I remember correctly, you did some rewatches of that too.
Yeah, we might be. I think we're doing a rewatch this month of that too. I'll be on with him to do one of the either one of the theatrical features or one of the specials, which are basically theatrical.
Babylon 5 before they reboot the damn thing. And I don't even know how to pronounce that.
I'm supposed to be offering support.
Tracy?
Presentations.
Tracy?
Leche?
I don't know.
What are you talking about? It must be an anime or something.
Babylon 5 and Tracy.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know it, but I'll learn about it on Tuesday.
That's the point. You're supposed to learn about things that you've never heard of. Like Troy and I will bring out our 1970s series for people to peruse.
Our old people shit. Hey, I gotta tell you, I'm maybe in one of the coming weeks we'll have to talk about some of our Christmas memories from the 70s. The Montgomery Wards and the Sears Roebuck catalogs.
Yeah, we'll do that. Well, we are going to do a good old days this Sunday though before the movie, and please remember you got to send me at least a couple more. We're going to be doing spooky toys we grew up playing with. Okay.
Oh, right. Okay. I've got a bunch of great ones. Yeah.
Drunken Heads. Just email me the names. I'll see if I can find some.
You bet.
When we talk about them, all right. And I have a couple of my own. So okay. All right. Cool.
All right,
or
guys.
Board games too. If you got a spooky board game you played or creepy board game, you can bring that one up too. Okay.
Absolutely. Will do.
Right, cool.
All right, you guys. That's it for this week. Thank you so much for being here. Hit those links that I got down in the description for Aged Boomer, Netter. If you're so inclined, if you think that I sobered up too much by the end of this, maybe buy me a drink. Feel free to support the channel. But whatever you do, have a great Halloween weekend. Take care of yourselves. Be safe, and we will catch you next time. Take care.
Good night, ladies.
Good night, sir.
Hit it, sweetheart.